Greetings and gratangs, my fellow story lovers, as we say in my native country. No. A little different camera angle here, up close and personal, but hope you're enjoying the HD and that the sound is still good. And what are we doing? We're going to read some Ishmael. A little bedtime story reading here. It's the evening where I'm at. And I want to check in with you all nearly 7,000 subscribers of this channel. I really appreciate all the support. And if you enjoy hanging out with me and you want to hear me talk more and actually hear me talk with other people like me who are into some of the same things that I'm into, please check out my other channel. It's called Vision to Vibe, not the number 2, like the word 2, Vision to Vibe. And give it a search there. I'll put the link also on the episode. Appreciate any of the support of my other endeavors. Maybe I'll see you over there. Drop me a comment. There's a lot less. It's a new channel. There's a lot less going on over there. You get a little bit more action attention from me. You can learn a bit more about my business and kind of like what I do to fund all this. You know what I mean? All right. Let's get back into it. We are in chapter 4 here of this section of the book. Let's pick right back up. Thanks for that little preamble here. Nothing much came out of me for 90 seconds or so, except maybe waves of baffled fury. Then I said, "That's not fair." Remember, he just told a story about how the origin of the earth, like taken from a jellyfish's perspective. And that's not fair. What do you mean? I don't exactly know what I mean. You've made some sort of point, but I don't know what it is. You don't? No, I don't. What did the jellyfish mean when it said, "But finally jellyfish appeared"? It meant that this is what it was all leading up to. This is what the whole 10 or 15 billion years of creation were leading up to. Jellyfish. I suppose I tittered, because there was more to come beyond jellyfish. That's right. Creation didn't end with jellyfish. Still to come were the vertebrates, and the amphibians, and the reptiles, and the mammals, and of course, finally, man. Right. And so your account of creation finally ends, and finally man appeared. Yes. Meaning what? Meaning that there was more to come. Meaning that creation had come to an end. This is what it was all leading up to. Yes. Of course. Everyone in your culture knows this. The pinnacle was reached in man. Man is the climax of the whole cosmic drama of creation. Yes. Sorry, there's just not a lot of different cues here. It's cutting to different lines, but sometimes you can't tell if it's just like the narrator switching to a new idea or whatever. But man, this is just a mind-blowing way to bring up the fact that that's just silly. It's the same way we think, for evolution to end with jellyfish is silly. It seems somewhat silly for us to think of mankind being this kind of pinnacle that the whole cosmos, the drama of evolution and stuff is leading up to. Creation, rather. When man finally appeared, creation came to an end because its objective had been reached. There was nothing left to create. That seems to be the unspoken assumption. It's certainly not always unspoken. The religions of your culture aren't reticent about it. Man is the end product of creation. Man is the creature for whom all the rest was made. This world, this solar system, this galaxy, the universe itself. True. Everyone in your culture knows that the world wasn't created for jellyfish, or salmon, or iguanas, or gorillas. It was created for man. That's right. Ishmael fixed me with a sardonic eye. And this is not mythology? Well, the facts are the facts. Certainly, facts are facts, even when they're embodied in mythology. But what about the rest? Did the entire cosmic process of creation come to an end 3 million years ago, right here on this little planet, with the appearance of man? No. Did even the planetary process of creation come to an end 3 million years ago, with the appearance of man? Did evolution come to a screeching halt just because man had arrived? No, of course not. Then why did you tell it that way? I guess I told it that way because that's the way it's told. That's the way it's told among the takers. Takers is capitalized. It's certainly not the only way it can be told. Okay, I see that now. How would you tell it? He nodded towards the world outside of his window. Do you see the slightest evidence anywhere in the universe that creation came to an end with the birth of man? Do you see the slightest evidence anywhere out there that man was the climax towards which creation had been straining from the beginning? No, I can't even imagine what such evidence would look like. That should be obvious. If the astrophysicists could report that the fundamental creative process of the universe came to a halt 5 billion years ago when our solar system made its appearance, that would offer at least some support for these notions. Yes, I see what you mean. Or if the biologists and paleontologists could report that speciation came to a halt 3 million years ago, this too would be suggestive. Yes. But you know that neither of these things happened, in fact. Very far from it. The universe went on, as before. The planet went on, as before. Man's appearance caused no stir. No more stir than the appearance of jellyfish. Very true. Ishmael gestured toward the tape recorder. So what are we to make of that story you told? I bared my teeth in a rueful grin. It's a myth. Incredibly enough, it's a myth. Boom! Right? If you hadn't heard this story before, are you with me here? Mind-blowing, right? That's the end of chapter 4 of this section. Let's move to chapter 5. I told you yesterday that the story the people of your culture are enacting is about the meaning of the world, about divine intentions in the world, and about human destiny. Yes. And according to this first part of the story, what is the meaning of the world? I thought about it for a moment. I don't quite see how it explains the meaning of the world. Along about the middle of your story, the focus of attention shifted from the universe at large to this one planet. Why? Because this one planet was destined to be the birthplace of man. Of course. As you tell it, the birth of man was a central event. Indeed, the central event in the history of the cosmos itself. From the birth of man, the rest of the universe ceases to be of interest, ceases to participate in the unfolding drama. For this, the earth alone is sufficient. It is the birthplace and home of man, and that's its meaning. The takers regard the world as a sort of human life support system, as a machine designed to produce and sustain human life. Yes, that's so, isn't it? In your telling of the story, you naturally left out any mention of the gods, because you didn't want it tainted with mythology. Since its mythological character is now established, you no longer have to worry about that. Supposing there is a divine agency behind creation, what can you tell me about the gods' intentions? Well, basically, what they had in mind when they started out was man. They made the universe so that our galaxy could be in it. They made the galaxy so that our solar system could be in it. They made our solar system so that our planet could be in it. They made our planet so that we could be in it. The whole thing was made so that man could be a hunk of dirt to stand. Oh, that man would have a hunk of dirt to stand on. And this is generally how it's understood in your culture, at least by those who assume that the universe is an expression of divine intentions. Yes. Obviously, since the entire universe was made so that man could be made, man must be a creature of enormous importance to the gods.
but this part of the story gives no hint of their intentions toward him. They must have some special destiny in mind for him, but that's not revealed here.
True. And that's the end of the chapter. He obviously says man and mankind, and I feel like nowadays it's sort of considered an old-fashioned reference to humanity and stuff like that. But I suppose I can also appreciate Daniel Quinn trying to make a character, out of humanity. Perhaps that's a bit of the author's intentions. Again, not having read ahead since I've read it back in high school, or done a bunch of like watching of other YouTube videos or book clubbing this or anything like that. I'm just kind of experiencing it with you the same way that I experienced it when it was just assigned to me in AP Environmental Science class back my senior year of high school. And it absolutely, I think it changed my life. It changed my entire outlook on Earth, and so much of my lifestyle and stuff like that. And some of the decisions I make are echoes of what this book made me think of. And so anyways, I'd love to hear at any point what you think of this. And there's so many other like life-changing books I share here on the channel. So if you're not following, if you're just here for this story, or to get this done for a book report or whatever, welcome. That's definitely why I'm here. I love helping people who are trying to better themselves and learn and stuff. I like helping educators and parents and stuff. It's just a great sort of like gratis pro bono gift to give back to the world. So if it's meant anything to you, please obviously drop a subscription, subscribe, whatever, right? Drop a comment. And again, hopefully you don't mind occasionally my just kind of riffing here a little bit. It's just, again, something else I try to offer, since you can get this audiobook from the library for free. You can check this out from the library for free. You can buy the book on Audible or whatever, but just giving you a little bit of something different, something extra here on the old Nick Sal YouTube channel. Let's get into chapter 6. All right, enough of this banter. Chapter 6. Let's see what happens next. Every story is based on a premise, is the working out of a premise. As a writer, I'm sure you know that. Yes. You'll recognize this one. 2 children of warring families fall in love. Right, Romeo and Juliet. The story being enacted in the world by the takers also has a premise, which is embodied in part in the story you told me today. See if you can figure out what it is. I closed my eyes and I pretended I was working hard, when in fact, I knew I didn't stand a chance. I'm afraid I didn't see it. The story of the Leavers capitalized, have enacted in the world. The story the Leavers have enacted in the world has an entirely different premise, and it would be impossible for you to discover it at this point. But you should be able to discover the premise of your own story. It's a very simple notion, and the most powerful in all of human history. Not necessarily the most beneficial, but certainly the most powerful. Your entire history, with all its marvels and catastrophes, is a working out of this premise. Truthfully, I can't even imagine what you're getting at. Think. Look, the world wasn't made for jellyfish, was it? No. It wasn't made for frogs or lizards or rabbits. No, of course not. The world was made for man. That's right. Everyone in your culture knows that, don't they? Even atheists who swear there is no God know that the world was made for man. Yes, I'd say so. All right. That's the premise of your story. The world was made for man. I can't quite grasp it. I mean, I can't see why it's a premise. The people of your culture made it a premise, took it as a premise. They said, what if the world was made for us? Okay, keep going. Think of the consequences of taking that as your premise. If the world was made for you, then what? Okay, I see what you mean. I think if the world was made for us, then it belongs to us and we can do what we damn well please with it. Exactly.
That's what's been happening here for the past 10,000 years. You've been doing what you damn well please with the world. And of course, you mean to go right on doing what you damn well please with it, because the whole damn thing belongs to you. I've got like goosebumps. Yes, I said, and thought for a second. Actually, that's pretty amazing. I mean, you hear this 50 times a day. People talk about our environment, our seas, our solar system. I've even heard people talk about our wildlife. And just yesterday you assured me with complete confidence that there was nothing in your culture remotely resembling mythology. True, I did. Ishmael continued to stare at me, morosely. I was wrong, I told him. What more do you want? Astonishment, he said. I nodded. I'm astonished. All right. I just don't let it show. I should have gotten you when you were 17. I shrugged, meaning that I wish he had. I mean, I don't think I need to even riff here. We're at the end of chapter 6. Just what a elegant point Ishmael, and therefore the author Daniel Quinn, just helped make for us. Let's see if it unpacks just a little bit more. I think we can go on for one more chapter, don't you? Chapter 7. Yesterday I told you that your story provides you with an explanation of how things came to be this way. Right. What contribution does this first part of the story make to that explanation? You mean, what contribution does it make to explaining how things came to be the way they are right now? That's right. Offhand, I don't see how it makes any contribution to it. Think. Would things have come to be this way if the world had been made for jellyfish? No, they wouldn't. Obviously not. If the world had been made for jellyfish, things would be entirely different. That's right, but it wasn't made for jellyfish. It was made for man. And this partly explains how things came to be this way. Right. It's sort of a sneaky way of blaming everything on the gods. If they'd made the world for jellyfish, then none of this would have happened. Exactly, Ishmael said. You're beginning to get the idea. Chapter 8, it's a paragraph long. End of the whole section of the book. Section 3. Part 3, whatever. Chapter 8. Do you have a feeling now for where you might find the other parts of this story? The middle and the end? I gave this some thought. I'd watch Nova, I think. Why? I'd say that if Nova was doing the story of creation, the story I told today would be the outline. All I'd have to do now is figure out how they'd do the rest. Then that's your next assignment. Tomorrow, I want to hear the middle of the story. As I said, that concludes our section. Some stumbles here, guys. I don't think it had anything to do with the camera angle. I was just tired. But I mean, again, it's already been longer than I intended to get this chapter out. And, I wanted to go to bed, but I was like, you know what? I want to do a little bit of reading. I always feel very satisfied. It's kind of cathartic to be able to share here with you. So, sorry to run on at different times there. But try to give you a little something to book club it here indirectly with you. Thanks for reading with me. We're going to continue on with more sections here. But please let me know some of your thoughts. I've really appreciated the comments. This book is easily one of the most meaningful books to me in my entire life that I've read. It's one of the most important books I'd ever do for this channel. It doesn't mean I'm trying to dress it up for you and overproduce it or anything like that, obviously. But I can't think of a more important story for the times that we are living in right now. And I'm not just talking about like this year, right? Like this decade. Like we all know what's going on, around the world in general, humanity's just impact on the planet. This is a tremendous lens to just cut through a lot of like, what does it mean? Where am I relative to all of this?
and we're just on the precipice of it. And if you haven't read this before, surely you can feel it. We're going to get Ishmael's going to really take us to school in section 4. So looking forward to revisiting this story for the first time in well over 20 years with all of you. Thanks again so much for being with me. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.